watching CramerSez.
Welcome. My name is Kramer. This is the CramerSez podcast. Project, I'll get it right one of these days. It's Wednesday, March 26th. Welcome to the show. Hey, what we're going to talk about tonight is I don't want to get into the Hegseth thing and what's going on with Signal. Everybody else is talking about that. What I want to talk about tonight is how everything is your fault. MAGA, it's all your fault. You did this. You did this to all of us. The situation that we're in right now, it's all your fault. And that's why I have to attack you. That's what the left is telling us on a daily basis. It's your fault. It's your fault, MAGA, that you voted in Trump and egg prices are still as high as they were the day that Biden left office. Well, they're not. They're down 30 to 40%, but they won't remember that. All they remember is egg prices were the exact same price the day after Biden left office. MAGA, that's your fault. You did that to us, MAGA. This is what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that the U.S. aid workers that are now out of jobs, the government workers that are now out of jobs, they want you to believe that that's your fault. They want you to believe that them not being essential is your fault. They have to blame someone. It can't be their fault. It can't be because they've done something wrong. It can't be because we're going to save money. It has to be someone's fault, and it might as well be MAGA's. It's your fault, MAGA. It's your fault that the COVID vaccines didn't work as well. If you'd taken them like you were instructed, if you had done as you were told, all of those people wouldn't have died. It was all your fault, MAGA. Your fault. You did this. You are always destroying everything. If it wasn't for MAGA, education test scores in this nation wouldn't be plummeting on a yearly basis. We need 2 Department of Educations. One can't get it done. We need another one, obviously. This is the mentality of the left. This is what they tell you. They want you to believe that their problems are your fault, that you did this not only to yourself, but to them. It's your fault, MAGA. It's your fault that the Nazis of Ukraine are losing in a war to Russia, that Putin's beaten the Nazis of Ukraine. It's your fault. You won't give up your money. You're stingy. By the way, for all of those saying that they stand with Ukraine, I just want to inform you that Ukraine now has the ability for you to sign up. You can just go sign up. You don't have to do anything. They will get you over there, and they'll give you a gun, and they'll put you on the front line. So if you really stand with Ukraine, the best place to do it is behind people standing on the front lines. It's your fault, MAGA. Your fault that they can't use abortion as birth control and kill their baby up to the last day before it's supposed to be conceived. They can't do that because of you, MAGA. In some states, they can't do that. In some states, they still can. In some states, MAGA isn't fucking it up like they are everywhere else. This is what the left wants us to believe. They want you to believe that it's your fault, that their student loan debt isn't getting paid off. I was expecting it to get paid off. I was going to go take a vacation with that money that was left over. Why didn't you pay that, MAGA, you stingy little fuckers? This is what they want you to believe. And in the news today, I heard, and this is why I'm talking about this tonight, I heard a leftist say it was our fault. Destiny, I don't know if you know who this idiot is, but he said that it's MAGA's fault that Teslas are being vandalized. It's MAGA's fault that Tesla dealerships are being firebombed. It's Tesla's fault for being associated with MAGA. It's our fault. It's always our fault. It doesn't matter what they do. They will justify it. I've been saying it for a long time, folks. The most dangerous thing about Democrats is they can justify anything. And then they'll lie to your face and say they didn't do it. You've got AOC just the other day making a statement about how Tom Homan and Kristi Noem and the rest of the Trump officials, that when they go out and do, news interviews and that kind of stuff, that's a waste of taxpayer dollars because they could be at work making your life better. Now, she's giving an interview on TV. This is the duplicity of the left. They can't help themselves. They live in this make-believe world. And as long as it's what I call mean girl math, they can get away with it. No one holds them accountable. Why? Because they're all mean girls. I was watching the hearing today, and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Crockett, and finally what I realized was that so many of them are just using mean girl tactics that they used in 8th grade. Calling each other names, using racist slurs. I don't know why Crockett all of a sudden thinks that it's becoming of a congressional member to cuss in the chambers of Congress. I guess it's been done before. It'll be done again. But for somebody who's always holding herself up as a symbol of what democracy is, you should respect the places that you're in. You just should. I'm not a big believer. I've got a potty mouth, but when I'm in places that I got to keep my mouth shut and I don't use those words, I have the ability to do that. I'm an adult. This shows you what's happening in our nation right now. The reason that we're having the problems that we're having, folks, is for one simple reason. The Democrats cannot take responsibility for what they've done. Again, egg prices didn't change on January 20th, 2025. They didn't suddenly lower at noon. No, they were at $9 on noon. And at 12:01, guess what? They were still $9 a dozen. They want you to believe that Trump had something to do with that. Well, he said he was going to fix it on day one. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. It's your fault for the simple reason that you kept your pie hole shut for 4 years as a dude with dementia led our nation down the drain. We spent more money in the last 4 years than I've seen spent by government in my entire life. And now we're finding out from Doge on a daily basis that these people were robbing us blind. Oh, that's not true. We haven't seen any evidence of that so far. Okay. I didn't see any evidence of Trump molesting a woman. She couldn't even remember when it happened. But he still got convicted, didn't he? Because that's what you people do. You will run with whatever narrative hurts the person you hate the most. That's how it works for you. And whose fault is that? It's probably my fault. Tim Walz the other day said that he hates Musk, that he's got a problem with Musk. He just dislikes that guy to the point where it's probably unhealthy. Now, the crowd laughed, but folks, that's admitting that you've got Musk derangement syndrome. It's admitting that what we've been saying is true. You cannot see anything other than through the lens of hate for these people. And when you do that, you can't compromise. You can't work with them. When people refuse to see any good in you whatsoever, the days of compromise and the days of negotiations are done. From that point on, it's name calling and fist throwing. That's what ends up happening. Now, I think it's interesting that, what happened on January 6th, there was a lot that I didn't like about it. I was there, but there was a lot that happened that I didn't like. I did not go into the building. I didn't see the benefit of doing that. I left when that shit started. I wasn't there for that. But at the same time, that's the people's house. Nobody set it on fire. Nobody vandalized it. Oh, they broke windows out. Yeah, tell that to Tesla owners who are replacing their windows and the rest of their car because they got firebombed. Or the dealerships tell me about that. Real loss. Again, that's the people's house. I don't agree with it. I'm not condoning it. But at the same time, that's our property. I find it interesting how I can be found to be trespassing on my own property. I don't get that. Maybe I'm stupid. Well, you were told you couldn't go. By who? Fellow citizens? Fellow citizens are telling me that I can't go on my property. That they have more authority over my property, our property, than we as the people do. That's what they want us to believe, folks. And everything that's happening, it's our fault. Joe Biden not getting his bills passed through and getting the money out to all the people that wanted to get it, it was MAGA's fault. We were blocking Biden's path to getting us back. You stopped the border bill, MAGA. It's your fault that all these illegals are here. You guys, we tried to work with you. It's your fault. Do you see the theme here? It never stops. And so there's a cure for this, and most people don't want to address it, but here's the cure. When I've got somebody that I can no longer deal with, negotiate with, or anything, I just ignore everything and anything that they have to say. They have no authority. They won't talk in an adult manner. They want it their way or the highway, and if you don't do it, I will find a way to blame you so I can burn down your building. That's the left that we're dealing with today. We'll talk about it more when we come back.
You're watching the CramerSez Project.
Global news with local views.
From the halls of Congress
Across the nation.
and around the globe.
You're getting the latest news and conservative views.
You're watching the CramerSez Project.
Global news with local views.
CramerSez returns after this message from our partners.
Introducing Tusk,
With Tusk, you get uncensored news and secure browsing.
all while protecting your privacy.
Choose the news you trust and take control of your internet.
Join the free speech revolution with Tusk.
Download Tusk today at tuskbrowser.com.
The
You're
CramerSez
watching
Project.
CramerSez.
Welcome back to the show. My name is Kramer. This is the CramerSez Project. We try to do this, and I'm going to try and start doing this on a regular basis again. We have a number of situations going on in the country that people need to know about on a regular basis, and it doesn't always get reported in the news all that heavily. For example, things that we're following currently are the Act Blue scandal. Nobody's talking about that, but it's building behind the scenes. It's interesting to think about that. What we were talking about 2 years ago when we were being told that we were crazy, that there's no widespread fraud inside the election system. There's no widespread fraud inside the donation system. You guys are all a bunch of conspiracy theorists. But we did what journalists are supposed to do. We went and knocked on doors and asked people questions. Did you do this? Did you give this much money to Act Blue over the last year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Have you given $20,000 a month on a regular basis for the last 2 years? Because according to the FEC, Act Blue says you're giving $20,000 a month. Ma'am, are you giving $20,000 a month? And do you know what we were told 100% of the time? Every door we knocked on. Well, I gave some money, but I didn't give nearly that much money. I was told a lady had given $200,000. The FEC has a report from Act Blue that this lady who lives in an $87,000 mobile home at the end of a cul-de-sac where they're all stacked in like sardines. I asked her, I said, did you give $200,000 to Act Blue? And she says, sir, she says, do you see where I live? Do you think I have $200,000 to give? She was incredulous because it was a stupid question. I could plainly see that she probably didn't have the means to be able to do that, but I had to ask because that's what journalism is. Asking the questions that you need to know the answers to so you can figure out, is that person ripping me off or are they really delivering on what they say they're delivering on? Now, the conjecture is right now in the investigation that the ability for the Democrat Party in the last election to blow $1.5 billion, the Kamala Harris campaign ending up in the red at the end of it. Why was that so easy to happen? Why were they able to get so much money through? Because it's not real money. It's money laundering. That's what the Act Blue scandal is going to showcase. Folks, I know that I can say this out loud now and talk about it out loud and not be called crazy because 7 attorneys at Act Blue resigned 2 weeks ago. Poof, gone. Why? Because the investigations have started. What we've been claiming for the last 2 years, what we've been called Nazis for, what we've been called misogynists for, what we've been called homophobics, and all the things that they've called us over the last 4 years, folks, the chickens are coming home to roost. The facts are on our side. We have the receipts. They did what we said they did. We know that because they wrote it all down. You see, if you know much about the Nazis and how they fell, and when the trials in Nuremberg took place, why all of those people were so easily convicted, it's simple. The Germans were great note takers. They documented everything. It was all there in black and white. Well, the same case is true here. These people thought they were going to be in power forever. They thought they were going to sweep Hillary Clinton in. And when that didn't happen, they went on the warpath to make sure that Trump couldn't do anything. The lawfare that we're seeing right now, folks, that is a direct response to them trying to hide the crimes that they've committed. There's no reason to go after a person this hard. There's no reason to call half the nation Nazis. There's no reason unless you have something to hide. And you see, the useful idiots that support the Democrat Party, we got some of our own, I'll admit it, but there's so many of them, and they're so self-righteous. They get their virtue and who they are as a person. They get that through what they call you and how they treat you. Well, I'm better than that person right there because I stand with Ukraine. Oh, you do? Oh, yeah. You don't? No, I don't. I don't stand with Ukraine. Why not? Well, because they're Nazis. No, that was blown out. Zelensky got rid of those guys, and he dispersed them into other units around. So the Azov Battalion is no longer, the Nazi thing that it used to be. But you still support them, knowing that they've got Nazis spread out through their entire military. You still support them. Hell yeah, I've got to. If I don't, I'll get canceled. That's what we're facing today. Harry Sisson came out with a new video. I don't know if you've seen it. Harry Sisson has got a little bit of a problem on his hands. Harry is an influential young man in the Democrat liberal end of it. And he was in the White House, got to meet Joe Biden several times and did podcasts. He was everywhere over the last 4 years telling you what kind of Nazi you are, how you hate women. In fact, that's his new thing now. MAGA hates women. And the claims that he was doing some nefarious shit with women, well, that's all blown out of context. And you just don't understand. And the Democrats, you shouldn't cancel me because I made a mistake. I'm willing to learn. Democrats shouldn't cancel anybody. We as a party, if we ever want to win elections again, we have to be able. This is what Harry Sisson is saying. The reports are that he was requesting nudes from women across the internet. 11 women came forward and gave their story. But Harry wants you to forget what he's done. He pivoted. It was classic. The video is classic. He pivots off of what he wants to talk about, and you talking about him, and he puts it back on MAGA, and he puts it back on Trump. Don't look at me. I didn't do anything wrong. The guy over there, the guy that we're fighting, he's got 34 felony convictions. He sexually assaulted a woman. We've got it all on paper. This is what they do. And this is why the right, MAGA, and everybody else who has any core, any self-respect, has to look at what he's doing and go, well, this is all bullshit. We've seen this game before. Fool me once, shame on me. But we've seen this several times, so Harry can't pull this trick because it's a shame on me twice. They've done it twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It's the same playbook over and over and over again. Disregard what I did. But that guy over there, he's a fucking felon. That's what we've got going on. And if you don't fight it back with fire, Harry Sisson, as far as I'm concerned, all I do with these people anymore is I do one simple thing. I mock and ridicule them. They mean nothing to me. They are worthless. They are the true deplorables because they will lie to your face and stab you in the back and then come around and try to convince you that it's your fault that they're such a shitbag. This is what we're going to have to deal with, folks. It's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. They're getting more and more desperate. And as we get closer to these investigations being exposed, there's a process. And I know that people are upset right now. They're saying, well, nothing's happening. I don't see anything happening. Where are the arrests? The difference is that we have to do this by the book. It has to be impeccable. All the I's dotted and all the T's crossed. There can't be a situation where you get in and, well, we can't tell you what the crime is. He's guilty of RICO, but we don't know what the underlying crime is. We took some misdemeanors and turned them into felonies. That shit isn't going to happen. We don't have to. We don't have to create anything. We've got the receipts. They wrote it down. I mean, if you look at what Strzok and Page were doing, hey, don't worry, honey. We're gonna stop all of this shit. That is nothing compared to what's been exposed. They talked to each other freely because they never thought that what they were saying would be exposed. They thought that they had the anonymity of a huge government where nobody would know what they were doing. Well, that's what criminals do. They try to get into a situation where they can have complete control. Nobody will know what they're doing. Nobody would look at them. And then they can start to do their harm. They decide that they're going to lash out at this person or lash out at that person, and we're finding that these agencies have been utilized for this over the last few years. Personal vendetta settled in our courts and jails. People put in prison because they had a personal vendetta with, or somebody higher up had a personal vendetta with them. Now, this is as old as time immemorial. It's no different than the Middle Ages, where the sheriff came and got you in the middle of the night and locked you up hanging by your thumbs until the king decided what he was going to do with you. tell me what's the difference between that and what's been going on the last 4 or 5 years. Folks, to get this done right, Bondi and Patel and the rest of them have to have their nose to the grindstone. And it's going to take a few months before we start seeing these indictments. But they're coming. Now, everybody will say, well, it's never going to happen. Nobody's ever renamed the Gulf of Mexico either. Nobody's ever said we're going to disband the Department of Education since Reagan wanted to do it in 83, 84. Nobody's done that before. They've talked about it, but one man did that. One group of people came in and said, we have the testudinal fortitude, I think that's the right term, testicular fortitude, that's it is. That's testicular fortitude. The testicular fortitude to do what needs to be done. Folks, there's a lot of people that talk. There's a lot of people that say, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, and they never do it. Lindsey Graham is one of those guys. Goes on to Sean Hannity and says, Sean, those Democrats down there in South Carolina, they're really against me. I need your folks' help. I need you to help me raise some money because I got to fight them. And when I get back, when I win this election, I'm going to have a hearing on this. And then as soon as he wins that election, poof, those hearings are out of sight, out of mind. They say one thing and do another. And by the way, we've got them everywhere. The Democrats, at least I give them the credit, they speak out. Our guys keep their fucking pie hole shut. They don't say shit. They're so afraid of losing an election that they can't be the leaders that we hired them to be. And that's what it is. They get hired. It's a fucking job. It's not that fucking hard either. I've seen it. I've been there. I've been in the rooms as they all got their feet kicked up talking about how the taxpayers are stupid. We can, if we spin it this way, we can get it past them. I've been in the room when they do this shit. It's disgusting. That's why I've been doing what I've been doing for the last 4 years, because up until 2020, I was part of the system. I thought that, hey, everything's hunky-dory. It's those guys against us and us against them, and we just fight every 2 years, 4 years, whatever it is, and we can make a lot of money doing it. That's kind of how naive I was. And then COVID happened. I think it was an eye-opener for a lot of people. A lot of people realized that what we've been going through for the last 4 years was probably one of the best things that this country could have ever gone through. I know that's making all the people who believe in Q jubilant, but no, it's not a Q thing, folks. It's getting your eyes opened and realizing that those motherfuckers lie on a regular basis. And it's not just the Democrats, it's the Republicans as well. Jim Jordan gets up and he's wagging his finger about all this stuff with Doge and all the money that's being found. Well, Jim Jordan signed a lot of fucking bills that spent that goddamn money, and a lot of it went to Ohio. So don't sit there now and tell me that self-righteously that you've done something, Mr. Jordan. All of them need to be held accountable. Every single one of them. If they're not delivering for the American people, I just assume they're ripping us off. You should too. I'll be right back after this.
You're watching the CramerSez Project.
Global news with local views.
From the halls of Congress
Across the nation.
and around the globe.
You're getting the latest news and conservative views.
You're watching the CramerSez Project.
Global news with local views.
CramerSez returns after this message from our partners.
Introducing Tusk,
With Tusk, you get uncensored news and secure browsing.
all while protecting your privacy.
Choose the news you trust and take control of your internet.
Join the free speech revolution with Tusk.
Download Tusk today at tuskbrowser.com.
The CramerSez Project is back.
With global news and local views.
You're watching the CramerSez Project.
You're watching CramerSez.
Welcome back. This is the CramerSez Project. It is Monday, March 26th. We're 3 months in, almost 4 months into the new year, going into 4 months in the new year. 90 days, folks. 90 days. Lots happened in the last 90 days. And if you think that that's exciting, and you just wait for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Here's the situation. They have to put together the information in such a way that the American people understand it. And there's so much corruption and there's so much crime. I cannot tell you the number of people that are going to fall when this starts happening. That's why you see them looking for real estate agents, selling their homes, getting cash out. They were transferring money out of the country, looking for defense attorneys. Why? Why did that suddenly go up? for one simple reason. Our nation is full of the biggest criminals on the face of the planet. On Monday night, I talked to Tiffany Cianci. Tiffany, if you've seen her video here recently, she broke the story, or kind of really explained what's been going on with our pension funds and how the equity investors, private equity, how they've ruined the nation, how they've bankrupted us again. That we're at another 2008 or even worse, maybe even a depression type situation with our banking system, with the real estate system, with all of our stores, with everything from your veterinarian to your doctor's office to the mortuary. Everybody is owned by these companies, and they're shutting them down systematically. They're going to take the losses, they're going to take the wins, and they're going to shut this economy down. We talked about it the other day, and I think what's scary about it is that if you listen to her and you believe everything that she says, and folks, this is almost a repeat of 2008. When you look at the numbers, it's scary as fuck. What they've done is they've robbed from everyone. They've made themselves whole, then made themselves whole again, and now they're going to skedaddle. I said in my podcast going into the election that this is exactly what they would do with the economy, that it was a house of cards, and that the economy was being held up by a few puppeteers. They were big enough and had the finances to be able to sit there and weather it out. But the moment Joe was out the door, the moment that they want things to look bad, they have the ability to pull the rug out from underneath everybody. It doesn't harm them. It doesn't bother them. They're just going to go into another business. Doesn't matter. They will invest in other areas. Doesn't matter. They've got their billions of dollars. Doesn't matter. That's why Trump has to get rid of this loophole. What is it? Did I write that down? It's the carried interest loophole. The carried interest loophole has to be closed. That's what allows these robber barons of today to be able to do what they're doing. The difference between the robber barons of the 1920s or the early 1900s and today is that the robber barons then actually built shit. The railroads that we use today, the libraries that you go to today, the steel mills that were making this nation strong throughout World War II, all of those were built. But these private equity guys today, they don't build anything. All they do is destroy. If you watch the movie Greed with Michael Douglas back in the 80s, the term was used that greed is good. Greed can be used for good. It can be. But it hardly ever ends well. Why? Because, well, the greedy do what the greedy do. They don't care about how much what they do harms you. And when they do harm you, they're going to blame it on you. It's what we started with tonight. It's all your fault. It's your fault. You trusted us. You put us in power. It's not our fault. We have no accountability here. None at all. It's all your fault. You trusted us. Folks, in the next few weeks, we're going to be making an announcement about a brand new news service that we're trying to get off the ground, and I'm super excited about it because I think, over the last 4 years, what we've learned is one thing. We can't trust the mainstream media. They're in bed with the people that are ripping us off. And if they're not making money off of it directly, they're doing it indirectly through books and TV appearances and everything else. This bullshit has to stop. And it's not going to stop because the current model won't allow it to stop. There's too much fucking money. There's only one way to stop that. You have to do something new. You have to break the mold. For example, Uber. Uber's a great example. Uber changed how everything is done as far as taxis. Completely changed the scene. That's what we plan to do here in the next few weeks. We hope that you join us. It's a news service that's going to be more than just a news service. It's a social media platform. We've got a lot of plans for it, but a lot of live content, family programming, and so on. But news that you can sink your teeth into, talk shows that you can a 2 or 3 hour in-depth conversation about important issues on a daily basis. Think about it as a Joe Rogan podcast 24/7. Plus news and all the other bullshit that goes along with it. So we've been working on it for the last 2 years. We're super excited to get to this point. We will start announcing when subscriptions and so on. We'll give you the website. If you go to the CramerSez, well, it's not there yet. Don't go there yet. I'm not going to give you the address yet. It's not quite done. But the website is up and running, and so we hope that you that you jump on board with this, because the American people need to know that when they hear something from a newscaster or somebody giving them information, that it's not based on some ideology, or it's not based on some payment that they got, or it's not based on a friend that's in trouble. They have to know that, like Catherine Herridge. I don't know if you know who Catherine Herridge is. She's a newscaster. She's been on all the channels, NBC, CBS, ABC. I don't think she was on ABC, but she was on Fox for a number of years. I've watched her across all these news platforms, and I still don't know how she votes. I don't know her politics. She doesn't put any of that in there. It's information. And she presents both sides like journalists used to. That's what we need back in this nation, to where you can see both sides of the story. The left's version of it and the right's version of it. And then you decide what you want to take away from that. No, everybody's got an angle. They're all trying to sell something. Well, we're not going to do that. We don't need eyeballs. We don't need eyeballs in the way that the media does today. They use advertisers. That's dead. Can't do that anymore. Can't allow a big pharma to tell me what we can and can't do. Can't allow a big business to come in and tell us what we can or cannot say. If we're good at what we do, the American people, Substack, TikTok influencers, what they've proven is if you deliver a great product that people, well, they'll consume it. And that's what we hope you do. With that being said, I'm out of here. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll do it again as soon as I can. I've got a lot of shit going on right now. But I wanted to come and talk to you tonight about the fact that you've got to get over this wanting to fight with these Democrats. No matter what you do, no matter how you try to please them, it's always going to be your fault. With that being said, I'm out of here. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Kramer Says Live.
This concludes this broadcast.
Please follow, like, and subscribe to be notified the next time
The CramerSez project goes live.